So Herbert Hoover says, I have watched with genuine admiration the steady and unmistakable progress made in the rehabilitation of Palestine. The only thing is, he was one of many who wanted it in Africa. There were even Zionists who wanted it in Africa because it would be away from the Arab influence. They felt it would be safer. And Herbert Hoover felt it should be either Tanzania, Kenya, or Uganda. Obviously, that was not God's intent, and that's not what happened. But Herbert Hoover, he aided Jews devastated by World War I and the pogroms. He supported the Jewish state entirely. He supported the rescue of Jews from the Holocaust. The next administration, however, was a disaster. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945. And Mr. Roosevelt, even though he was known not a friend of the Jews, they voted for him 90% of the time. And he was concerned about angering the Arab world, for one thing. But there were other reasons. He maybe will never ever be known as to why he was going to abandon the Jews. Here's where a warning comes in that I want to bring out from the Bible. It's the Jeremiah 16 warning. And there we read, Behold, I am going to send for many fishermen, declares the Lord, and they will fish for them, and afterwards I will send for many hunters, and they will hunt for them from every mountain and every hill, and from the clefts of the rocks. What is that all about? Well, here's what many believe it's about. Were the fishermen the Zionists of the 20s and 30s who told the Jews, get out of Germany? As a matter of fact, get out of Europe if you can. The 20s and 30s. By and large, they did not listen, or they couldn't afford it, or most of them just didn't think things would get as bad as they were going to get. Were the hunters then the Nazis who came and hunted them from every mountain and every hill and from the clefts of the rocks? So that was the Jeremiah 16 warning. And moving on here with Franklin Roosevelt, books were going to be written about his involvement, or maybe I should say lack of involvement, with the Jews during the Holocaust. While 6 million died, a chronicle of American apathy. Another book would be written, FDR and the Jews. As a matter of fact, I mean, the apathy was going to be, I'm going to tell you about plenty of the apathy. Kristallnacht, 1938, when the Jewish businesses were all destroyed in Germany. All Franklin Roosevelt did was recall the U.S. ambassador. There really was no official kind of a protest. And he had been in office, Roosevelt had been in office only 1 week when the first concentration camp, Dachau, went up in 1933. He knew, he chose to look the other way. He refused to let some 900 Jews in, came on the ship the St. Louis, May 1939, wanted to get into America. Many nations wouldn't let this ship in, but America wouldn't let them in. They finally went back to Germany. Many of those 900 perished in the ovens of Germany, but America turned its back. Many have said that Israel would not have become a nation had Franklin Roosevelt been president in 1948. Obviously, God had other ideas and was going to remove him. And then the Roosevelt administration had been encouraged to bomb the railroad tracks into the camps that would at least halt the immigration of those who were going to be sent to concentration camps. And a spokesman simply said such an operation would in any case be of such doubtful efficacy that it would not warrant the use of our resources. In other words, the Jews aren't worth our resources in America to save them. That's the Roosevelt administration. Yet 90% of the Jews would vote for him. He willingly, knowingly looked the other way. Just what was at the real root of it, I'm not sure anybody other than great insiders would ever know that.